नवसृजन की आंधी में जो दीप जलाए रखता है, वही काल के पन्नों में अमर कहानी लिखता है। गणमान्य व्यक्तित्व, विशिष्ट आमंत्रित सदस्यगण और इस प्रतिष्ठित अवसर के साक्षी बनने आए समस्त सम्मानीय उपस्थित जनों को मैं डॉक्टर श्रुति शर्मा सादर प्रणाम एवं हार्दिक अभिवादन करती हूँ। To grace this auspicious occasion, may I now invite our esteemed dignitaries to kindly join us on the stage. Our esteemed chief guest, a visionary leader whose contribution in the governance and policy making have been remarkable. Dr. Shri Srinivas, IAS, Secretary to Government of India, Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, and Department of Pension and Pensioners Welfare. Sir, your presence here today is a great privilege for all of us. I now invite on esteemed President of AIIMS Jammu, Professor Dr. Y.K. Gupta, whose leadership continues to inspire and guide us towards new horizons of excellence. I now invite Professor Dr. M. Srinivas, Director AIIMS, New Delhi. May I now invite the guiding force behind this institution's journey towards excellence, Professor Dr. Shakti Kumar Gupta, the Executive Director and CEO, AIIMS Jammu. I, Dr. Jitendra Sharma, Managing Director and Founder CEO, AMTZ, a visionary in medical technology and innovation.
I would like to request all the respected dignitaries to kindly come forward for the lamp lighting, please.
Professor Y.K. Gupta ji, the Honorable President of AIIMS Jammu, Professor M. Srinivas ji, the Director, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, Professor Shakti Gupta, the Executive Director, AIIMS Jammu. It is indeed a great privilege for me to visit AIIMS Jammu today, and let me wish each one of you a very happy Institute Day 2025. Janaushadhi Kendras to provide generic medicines, as also the Amrit Kendras have been brought in to provide low-cost drugs, and strategic purchasing of secondary and tertiary healthcare facilities and services to be implemented across state and national levels. The Ayushman Bharat National Health Protection Mission was started in 2018 to fulfill government's commitment for providing universal access to healthcare services. There is an annual benefit of 5 lakhs per family to cover 10 crore poor and deprived rural families. The National Health Agency has been mandated to implement this mission. In 2021, 2 new components were added, the Health Infrastructure Mission and the Digital Health Mission. The Health Infrastructure Mission seeks to establish 1.5 lakh health and wellness centers nationwide to strengthen critical care capacity in districts. Let me speak a few words about the AIIMS governance model. In 2014, I was informed that the Civil Services Board had recommended me for the post of Deputy Director Administration of AIIMS New Delhi, and soon thereafter the orders were issued with the approval of the Appointments Committee of the Cabinet. The AIIMS job is quite unique for an IAS officer as a standalone hospital job for a Joint Secretary level officer. To understand the job requirements, I met several former health secretaries, late Keshav Desraju, P.K. Pradhan, P.K. Hota, K. Sujata Rao, all of whom had served as health secretaries. And I wanted to understand what I should be doing in the AIIMS. And the recommendations came from timely implementation of the Pradhan Committee recommendations for inter-se seniority of AIIMS faculty, focus on establishing a center of excellence for public health policy, strengthening tertiary care for non-communicable diseases, enhancing the contribution of AIIMS to affordable healthcare practices through additional budgetary allocations. These were some of the suggestions that were given to me. Thereafter, I visited each of the 65 departments. I recall meeting Professor Y.K. Gupta ji in his office sometime in December 2014, and the heads of departments and chiefs of centers educated me in their area of expertise. Professor Bisoy, I recall meeting him in Dr. Ramlingaswamy Conference Hall on that day. I tried to assimilate the ethos and work culture of the Institute, which has had a long and cherished history of excellence. There was much to learn, much to read, much to do, I read medical journals. In fact, today I visited the library of AIIMS. More than 10,000 medical journals are available online. I visited laboratories, operation theatres, the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library to read the Rajkumari Amrit Kaur papers, a correspondence with Professor B.B. Dikshit in establishing AIIMS and the international collaborations that were pursued. Visited the debate section of the Parliament Library to read every debate on AIIMS by the parliamentarians. In fact, I also read 3 volumes of the collected works of Professor Ramalingaswamy, which were edited by Professor P.N. Tandon in a lucid style that made it very interesting reading. The AIIMS is a repository of wisdom in governance body meetings. The governing body meetings, in fact, date back to more than 150 governing body meetings were held by 2017. And the governance challenges of a mega institute larger than most of the ministries of Government of India were quite phenomenal. The AIIMS governance model is a committee-driven model. It entails significant process-driven systems. The relationship between the institute and the centers is quite well defined with the powers of the chiefs of centers. It entailed adequate delegation of financial and administrative powers for functional operations. The governing body minutes, in fact, I contributed to ensuring that they were conserved and preserved. And I found that they provided a constant reminder of how day-to-day challenges of administrative challenges, creation of new departments could be taken up. There are several meetings that the leadership team has to address: staff council meetings, standing committees, coordination committees, governing body, institute body, project management committees, subcommittees of the standing finance committees to set up this institution which entails so many hundreds of crores of expenditure. Constant oversight is required. I was also part of 2 years exercise for revamping the AIIMS governance model to review the AIIMS rules and regulations as part of the Venkatachalam committee and subsequently with the Professor Balram Iron committee. The various committees that examined AIIMS regulations, the Valyathan committee, the Sujata Rao committee, Sneh Bhargav committee, as also the other committees that followed, all reiterated their faith in the standing committee based governance model of AIIMS. A standing committee model in a giant institution with significant financial resources actually provided for multiplicity of checks and balances. It's a very people-driven job, and I found I was getting huge number of calls, emergency calls from senior colleagues, senior officials contacting me for medical consultations, and particularly Saturdays were overcrowded. I always tried my best to reach out and help. AIIMS teaches compassion. It also takes away impatience and brings a certain level of maturity in the way one sees life. It's a transformative experience. In fact, I'm reminded of the lecture by Professor Harbans Singh, who was from the Department of Pediatrics, and how it had motivated me to write at least 250 to 500 words every day, which enabled me to take up several book research fellowships thereafter. There were many court cases. In fact, I also had to attend meetings with Solicitor General, Additional Solicitor General, senior advocates of Supreme Courts. The AIIMS was being pleaded in many litigation cases, and it actually required tremendous amount of hard work to protect AIIMS interests. For an autonomous institution, the accountability of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences to Parliament is very high. There are start questions, unstart questions, calling attention notices, 0-hour mentions, several appearances before the standing committees of Parliament, presentations on AIIMS rules and regulations, recruitment rules, implementation of the reservation policy, women's empowerment issues, budgetary allocation issues. In fact, the AIIMS Act of 1956 contains provisions for significant parliamentary oversight. Even in 1956, several parliamentarians felt that delegated legislation through rules and regulations conferred a lot of authority to the Institute and wanted AIIMS to be accountable to parliamentary oversight, provisions for which were agreed to by the Institute. A great institute needs brilliant minds to conceptualize its growth story. I would like to present the contribution of Dr. V. Ramalingaswamy to the development of AIIMS New Delhi. In his 10-year tenure as Director AIIMS, the academic and research activities of the Institute acquired new dynamism. Distinguished medical scientists from the country and abroad were invited to invigorate these activities. There was a multiplication of symposia, seminars, workshops, CME programs virtually all through the year. The institute became a showpiece of what was the best in biomedical sciences in India. It was under his stewardship that several specialized centers, the Rotary Cancer Center, the Cardiothoracic Center, the Neurosciences Center, the Center for Community Medicine were established. Several new departments like gastroenterology and human nutrition, endocrinology and metabolism, biomedical engineering, hematology, nephrology, pediatric surgery, biotechnology were also created. Several departments had their capacities enhanced. The Dr. K.L. Wig Center for Medical Education and Research, the Dr. R.P. Center for Ophthalmic Sciences was taken up in the 1970s. The library building was named after Professor B.B. Dikshit, and AIIMS did consider a proposal for having a course called Educating the Human Physician, which considered the role of humanities in the teaching of medical sciences. However, that proposal was not taken forward. To quote Professor P.N. Tandon, Professor Ramalingaswamy had acquired an iconic status in his lifetime, endowed with a brilliant mind, a highly cultivated communication skills, a passion for teaching and research, along with a deep commitment to public welfare. He charted an uncompromising course to achieve excellence in whatever field he chose to follow. I did serve with 3 health secretaries, 3 joint secretaries, 2 directors, several chiefs of centers, heads of departments, and the focus was largely on creation of posts, timely completion of recruitments, expansion of the workforce, particularly doctors and nurses. Many of you, the day you pass out of your course, post-graduation particularly, would find yourselves in a job. That is the kind of demand that is available for medical professionals, because New India's strong institutions are built on strong teams, and timely recruitment is a foundational initiative. Creation of new departments is being undertaken, and of course the AIIMS residency scheme is one of the significant policies that has been implemented. There's a lot of focus on infrastructure development. I was part of the National Cancer Institute, the Mother and Child block, the new OPD block, and today when I see the new buildings that have come up in AIIMS Jammu, it is a matter of great pride to see the quality of infrastructure that has been developed. Time-bound completion of each of these blocks, as also setting up of strong laboratory facilities, particularly for science stream students, is an important and imperative need. Clean and Green AIIMS is a big initiative that was taken up by government under the Kayakalp scheme, the Clean Hospital scheme, and AIIMS New Delhi was a recipient of several awards under this scheme which ensured comprehensive sanitation protocols and also several hand hygiene campaigns. But I'm sure when I see AIIMS Jammu, I think AIIMS Delhi is under serious threat in the next time you bid for the Kayakalp award. Procurement of equipment, procurement of drugs is a big area of work. Procurement manuals, procurement committees, as also time-bound procurement is a big area of work. As also PhD reforms. It must be ensured that students who take up PhD get adequate extramural grants to complete their doctoral programs on time. Residential facilities for doctors and nurses was an area of focus. In fact, my mind goes back to Rajkumari Amrit Kaur, who had given up Manorville for the rest and recreation of doctors in Shimla, and a high quality residential accommodation can provide significant improvements in the quality of work. National level institutes also require strong international collaborations, and the faculty needs international exposure. AIIMS collaborations with World Health Organization, UNICEF, French Academy of Medicine, the India-EU Roundtable on Trauma Care and Nursing, these are areas that should be vigorously pursued. Digital AIIMS is one of the big projects that was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister on July 1, 2015, along with the Digital India programs. Healthcare has transitioned to a digital mode everywhere across the globe, and the digital health seeks to increase access, efficiency to quality of healthcare. In India, with 76 crores internet users, as the largest connected democracy in the world, digital health has tremendous benefits. Digital health innovations include mobile apps, digital therapeutics, as also remote patient monitoring. With the onset of the artificial intelligence, several diagnosis and treatment choices are available. Social media helps disseminate and increase literacy, health literacy. In fact, e-patients respond to treatment protocols far better. The digital AIIMS, which envisaged an AIIMS OPD transformation, witnessed placing clinicians' records as also the patient records online to ensure that timely consultation timings could be meted out. We realized that by the time the AIIMS OPD projects were digitized, the patient wait times could be cut by almost 7 hours, and the 3 a.m. lines that we witnessed in AIIMS virtually disappeared. So a number of ERP solutions are available. The e-governance solutions that I saw, particularly for the e-hospital as also for e-office, should be expeditiously implemented. In fact, AIIMS New Delhi became India's first fully digital public hospital way back in 2016, and it took up implementation of each of the 32 modules that were available under e-hospital. The RIS PACS, that is the Radiology Information System and Picture Archiving and Communication Systems, laundry modules, dietary modules, blood bank, establishment of kiosks for net banking facilities, interlinking of laboratories were all taken up along with the inpatient data. There are a few general governance models that I would present. The first is the approach to have quality grievance redressal systems. I have noticed that several billboards have been put up across AIIMS Jammu presenting the patient-first approach. A patient-first approach envisages deep commitment, patient satisfaction levels to be monitored, lesser grievances to come up. That will entail greater levels of commitment from each and every one of you. Grievances are filed on an online platform called CPgrams, which is redressed, and the 10-step reforms of CPgrams envisages that grievances which are filed by individual citizens are redressed within a period of 21 days. The second is the Karmayogi competency model. For those of the employees, AIIMS Jammu has more than 1,000 employees, to transform them from Karmacharis to Karmayogis, as also workplace transformation and shift from a rule-based to a role-based civil servant. The Karmayogi competency models using IBOT are very important. One of the futuristic models of governance that I would strongly advise the Institute to follow is the Chintan Shivir. The Chintan Shivir brings together across hierarchies individuals to sit together to deliberate on contemporary challenges. In fact, the Chintan Shivir that my department had was chaired by the Prime Minister, and the Minister of State for Personnel spent 2 days with us. In the Chintan Shivir, Prime Minister Modi shared his vast experience of governance and urged officials that impersonal governance models need to find life through deep personal commitment. This could be achieved through personal interactions, spending time together to think about common good, and seeking to find happiness in every job assigned. The corollary is lack of commitment, inability to work in teams, inertia at workplace can often result in institutional decay. I've tried to present and collate the vast gamut of work that has been undertaken in ushering in institution building at AIIMS and presenting a vision for transformative governance. It has enabled millions of Indians to reap the benefits of improved tertiary care. The imposing 182-meter Statue of Unity of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel provides inspiration for the nation's relentless commitment to excellence in the Amritkal period. To conclude, let me quote the words of George Bernard Shaw. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I love. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle for me. It is sort of a splendid torch which I have got hold of for the moment. I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it to future generations. This is what the All India Institute of Medical Sciences is. It's an inspiration to one and all. With these words, I wish AIIMS Jammu all success on its first institution day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on our first Institute Day. May I have a big round of applause, please?